Hello, fellow gaming enthusiasts. This is Revan here, and today we're going to be talking more about Dragon Ball FighterZ. But in this case, we're going to be talking about characters again, and mainly because I didn't really get to give my own wants and desires in the character speculation video I did about a week ago, or so. And so today I want to give my top 10 characters I want to see in Dragon Ball FighterZ, or what I personally want my wish list of top 10 characters. So, the first character I would like to see in the game, this is definitely lowest on my list here, but I feel like she would be really unique and interesting for the game, and Arc System Works is known for working with weird characters and making them interesting and fun, and you know, she could be really gimmicky and she could be really fun, and it is Launch. This is a character from Dragon Ball, and she was featured a little bit in Z, but was quickly forgotten about. I think she could make for a very unique and fun character, and it would be very fun for a fun moveset for Arc System Works to create for her. When she's in her blonde, when she's angry, when she's in her blonde hair, it's like she pulls out rockets. She has all sorts of artillery and arm stuff. You know, like she's just locked and loaded. She would be really fun, I feel. And there could be a lot of gaggy stuff, like funny stuff they could do with her. Gaggy as in like gags and whatnot, you know, like with her super attacks, and like they could work in her sneezing to change her hair color, and I feel like it would just be really just a fun character. Definitely very unlikely to happen for the first game, but I've seen a lot of people talking about like how interesting of a character she would be, and you know, there's no actual like flying in this game. There's just the homing dash, which you can argue she wouldn't be able to do that in the show, but it's a video game. Let's just let bygones be bygones and just go with it. Let's just let her be able to do that in a video game. So my number 10 is Launch. My number 9, a more serious character, is King Piccolo. Now I know a lot of people are going to say that King Piccolo doesn't need to be in the game because Piccolo's already going to be in the game, and Piccolo is technically the better character in terms of representing that character, like that, I guess, family, quote unquote. King Piccolo, I just feel like would be a nice character to represent the original Dragon Ball. He was the main final villain of Dragon Ball, unless you want to count, you know, Piccolo himself at the World Tournament at the end of that series, but I feel like King Piccolo would be it would just be interesting. They could, you know, work in his henchmen, you know, like they did in Tenkaichi 3 and Tenkaichi 2, or not Tenkaichi 2, in Tenkaichi 3, excuse me, where he had Drum, and he had the what was the other character's name? I forget the other character's name off the top of my head. Oh, Tambourine, that was it. Where he had Drum and Tambourine, although Tambourine was actually his own character in Tenkaichi 3, but in this game they could do it where Drum and Tambourine are part of his moveset as well. He could summon them, and you know, for attacks, you know, he could in his super attacks or something like that. I think he would just be he could be unique. He could be he could be his own character. Like Piccolo would be different from King Piccolo. King Piccolo would be different from Piccolo. It would just be a nice thing to see, like to have some Dragon Ball representation in the roster, besides the normal ones, which are Tien and Yamcha and Krillin. You know, them arguing that those three characters represent Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, well enough. Personally, I feel like they need a villain from that, from the original Dragon Ball, and King Piccolo would be perfect because he can fly. You know, he was a main threat. He was really, I think he's a really nice looking character. You know, I personally love the demon symbol he has on his gi. That's one of the things I really like about King Piccolo in the first place. Now, of course, you can argue, yes, just make him an alternate costume for Piccolo, like they did in the Budokai 3 Greatest Hits edition, but honestly, he needs to be his own character. So then, that's what I would want. Number 8, my 8th character that I want to see for Dragon Ball FighterZ is Mr. Satan / Hercule. Hercule has been kind of treated unfairly in many of the recent Dragon Ball quote-unquote fighting games. The last time he was actually had any sort of relevance or was usable in any serious capacity was Infinite World. Tenkaichi 3 and Tenkaichi 2, he was definitely more of a joke character that you could maybe use if you spammed rush attacks. But I feel like now for this game is the time to do Hercule justice again. Make him a jokey character, but that he could actually still compete. You know, he'll have the jetpack like usual. You know, incorporate a bunch of like capsule stuff with him. You know, incorporate his dynamite kick. Incorporate his rolling Hercule punch. The present for you. All that stuff. Put all that stuff in there. And do a jokey, you know, some kind of jokey dust attack is what they call it, or dust. I forget what they call it, but the grab in Dragon Ball FighterZ, you could be like some kind of jokey grab that launches characters similarly like the other ones, but you know, just enough that it would make sense for Hercule. And I feel like he could be just a really fun character. I think Arc System Works would definitely pick him. I don't see how he doesn't get in this game, other than they just have a better idea of who they really want in the game. Like, they pick better characters that can actually fight. So yeah, that was my number 8, is just Hercule. Number 7 is Tapion. I feel like another sword-based character, whether it's Tapion or Dabura, would be very nice to see. I have a feeling Dabura would probably get in over Tapion in this particular case, especially considering they just announced Future Trunks, and Tapion technically has the same sword as Future Trunks, but they could still make him different enough from Future Trunks anyway. So I just feel like Tapion would just be an interesting character. He hasn't really been in a serious fighting game, Dragon Ball fighting game. You can argue Tenkaichi 3, but you know, everybody kind of played pretty similar in that game. So I would really like to see what they could do with him in an actual fighting game, like Dragon Ball FighterZ. My number 6 character would be Turles. I'm just a fan of Turles in general. I just really like the character. He was the original evil Goku. I would love to see them, like, as his intro, I can already see them with his Piccolo-like cape and like tossing it off and stuff. Like, that would be so cool. Or like him eating the fruit of the tree of might before the battle begins. And like, just imagine that in the animation style that Arc System Works does. Like, it would look even better than the move does in Xenoverse 2 or in Raging Blast 2. Like, it would look so good than the actual like in-game moves that they've done with him eating the fruit. So I just think Turles would just be a personal favorite. There's no reason other than that. Like, there's stuff they could do with him, I'm sure, that would make him stand out. And I can just imagine what his supers would look like as well. I'm sure he would be a really awesome character. But I don't really see them actually doing it. But I would just love to see it, just personally. But he seems more like a character that would happen in a sequel. So, yeah. But that's just my wish list. That's what I want. That's my number 6. Number 5 is Tien. He's number 5 just because I love Tien. And I love how he's been represented in all the Dragon Ball games, really. How they try to make him, like, you know, how they try to properly represent him in the games, what they pull from source material-wise. But I really am excited to see what Arc System Works is going to do with this character. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the game. It's pretty much a given. And I need to have at least one character that is a given to show up in the game in this list. So I feel like Tien is going to be one of those, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with him, especially how they'll, you know, how his Dodon Ray will work, Tri-Beam, if they'll incorporate his forearms attack, if they'll incorporate any of his other unique stuff that he did in Dragon Ball or in DBZ, or anything that they might even pull from Super for him. So then my number 4, my 4th character that I would like is Hit. I think Hit has a solid chance of being in the base roster just because he made the base roster in Xenoverse 2 and his popularity is through the roof. Like, he would make for a great character in this kind of game. they could do him so well, so much justice. Like, his time stop stuff would be amazing. His fighting stance is perfect for it. He could have super attack, like multiple different super attacks. He could easily have three different supers. 1 bar, 2 bar, and a 3 bar. And heck, they could work in his potential like improvement stuff in his super meter. Like maybe it could be like a 4 bar or 5 bar super that he has to activate like some kind of potential awakening thing like Golden Frieza or something. And then his fighting stance changes and maybe like some of his moves change or something like that. Who knows? Or time stops for a longer period of time, all that jazz. My top number 3 would be Goku Black. My next one is Goku Black. Goku Black, I really, really want to see. I mentioned Turles already in this list, but Goku Black is the better evil Goku, for sure. And I would be happy to see him, even if Turles doesn't make it, because at least Goku Black could be even more unique with his beam sword and his scythe. Like, they could work in his scythe into his one of his supers. And everybody knows why you would want Goku Black in this game. Like, he could be properly represented. I don't think Xenoverse 2 did him as much justice as he deserves. Like, I think he deserved way more. They should have worked in the scythe into his character and some of the other stuff he did from the show. But yeah, I really want Goku Black. He is in my top 3 here. So then my number 2 is Beerus. And the only reason why I have Beerus as my number 2 is just because I want to see Hakai. Everybody wants to see Hakai, and it would just be an awesome super. Like, it would be so great. Like, with the animation that Arc System Works has shown us so far, just imagine Hakai. Oh my gosh, that would be so incredible. Ooh, man, and they could make him even more menacing with his, with the combos that he could probably do, and his the God of Destruction sphere could be an attack. When he's throwing the sun at you, basically. Beerus would probably be. I think Beerus is another character that's a given for this game, but he is my number 2 because I want to see what they do with him, and I feel like I might actually play him. I don't play him in Xenoverse 2 just because of the way they made him in that game. He's just kind of weird. I don't know. He's not as threatening. Like, his fighting style in that game is just weird. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of how he plays in Xenoverse 2. So then that brings me to my final character. My number 1 character I want to see is Gogeta. Whether that's Super Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, or any fusion-based character. If they don't do Gogeta and they do Gotenks or Vegito or Fuse Zamasu, I'm fine with any of those. I want at least one fusion-based character in this game. I'm a huge fan of Gogeta, just because I love the temporary fusion vest, and I love the personality that Gogeta has over Vegito. And of course, his moves that he has, and the Stardust Breaker, and just his fighting style in general is awesome. And I want to see Arc System Works, what they do with that. So yeah, that's my top 10 list of characters I want to see for Dragon Ball FighterZ. What's your top 10? Tell me in the comment section down below. If you like this video, just, comment, like, and subscribe. I'm going to be doing more videos about Dragon Ball FighterZ as we lead up to the game's release, and I'm going to be doing other videos Dragon Ball related as well, and gaming related in general. So, if you like this video, subscribe, comment, and, like it, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.